Good afternoon again, Lake County. This is Dick Barr with Unlocking Lake County. I want to welcome you back to the beautiful downtown Round Lake Beach studios of WRLR 98.3, The Life FM. I'm joined again by my lovely co-host, Kristen Kaufman. Say hello, Kristen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kristen Kaufman. Happy to be here.
And we have a special guest in the studio today, a good friend of ours and one of our lender partners, Sly Marinca of the Marinca team at Cross Country Mortgage. Hi, Sly.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. I know you're really busy right now with the spring market heating up. We've talked about this, that you're getting a slew of applications now, so I want to thank you for taking the time out to be here.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
For those of you who are new to the show, I'm going to lower my mic a little bit. I think I'm pinning. I'm probably blowing the eardrums out of people driving down the street. For those new to the show, Unlocking Lake County, this is a show where we talk about everything community, everything policy, everything real estate, working with professionals and supporting local businesses. And we try to create an environment where people feel free and comfortable to ask questions. And last week we did a wonderful Q&A spot, and that inspired I think we got 24 questions that people emailed us.
Yeah, something like that.
So that was awesome. Thanks for sending those questions in. And yes, send them. Send any question you have, and we'll do our best to answer it. You can email us at DB, those are my initials, DB for Dick Barr, db@dickbarr.com, and Barr has 2 R's. Send us your questions, and later on in the show, we have a segment where we go through and we answer them. And some of our answers, I think they're actually right.
Wouldn't you know it?
Yeah. Not all of them, and some of them were funny, too.
At least funny by our standards.
I know. I got a laugh out of you. That's the beauty of being on radio. You don't have to hear the groans and moans from the listeners. You just know that they never listened again. Anyway, so welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, and we're on. Oh, the other thing we learned last week, Kristen, that 1 hour is just not enough time.
It's not when you've got two talkative people.
Exactly.
Talking about something they love.
It's funny. When I was a kid, I didn't talk till I was like 5. My parents were worried.
Really?
Oh yeah, I was nonverbal till I was about 5.
Wow.
And my parents took me to specialists. They did everything they could to get me to start talking. And then once I turned 5, I got to a level where I just didn't shut up.
Sure.
And my folks always told me that until I was about 8, I thought my name was Richie Shut Up. Anyway, so we're going to hit the first segment of the hour. So anyway, the whole point of that story was talking about that we are now transitioning to a 2-hour show.
Yes, we are.
There's just way too much to talk about. There's way too many awesome businesses in the area. There's way too many cool people. And there's a lot of news to report. And all the news is going to be helpful. Well, at least some of it. Anyway, so we're going to jump right into the Market Minute, where we go over the cross-section of Northwest Lake County. And we talk about what areas are moving, what properties are selling, what properties are not selling, how long properties are staying on the market, to give our listeners a good idea of the current flow. As everyone knows, we're in a solid seller's market still. And usually a seller's market's identified by a lot of buyers. But that's not the case really right now. It's the amount of buyers is just more than the amount of sellers. And so what I mean by that, it's not like we don't have a lot of buyers. Yes, when we put a listing up there, we're getting anywhere between 10 to 20 showings right off the bat.
Easily.
Yeah, 5 to 10 offers easily. But we have such low inventory, historically low inventory. It's never been lower. And there's a lot of reasons people are predicting as to why that is. And we'll get to that later in the show. But right now, sellers are sitting on the sidelines, and there's very little to buy. So when something pops up there, it's crazy.
It is.
Sly, you see this too, right?
Absolutely. Multiple offers on, properties. I have clients that I'm pre-approving that are literally bidding against each other on the same properties. That's how few there are.
Wow. Now, how did? Oh, that's tricky.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
but you don't necessarily know the offer going in. When
I
you,
don't.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I think
just,
it's a little trickier for us as agents.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I just pre-approve them, and then I find out, later that they're all that they're bidding on the same home. When they ask me to send them the estimated payment, and I see the address, I'm like, oh shoot, somebody else is also looking at that one. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of that right now.
And Kristen, you bring up a good point. I don't recommend ever representing multiple buyers on the same transaction because there's a little bit of a conflict there. Have you ever done that?
Me personally, no, I have not. And thankfully, I work with a team of people that I trust to be able to refer someone out in a scenario like that. It's really difficult to represent each of your buyer's best interests if their interests are conflicting against each other.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I had a listing that we went live on just about 2 weeks ago, and an agent had contacted me, asked to show the property, and a day later she said she had another client interested in the same property, and both of her buyers were interested in making an offer, and she told me that she would be kind of towing the line on this negotiation. Now, as it turned out, luckily the second buyer never came through, so she wasn't in that situation. But I think you're headed down the road to trouble when you're representing two buyers on the same transaction, because how can you give advice on what you need to do to be the best offer and represent both of those parties at the same time? Now, I mean, technically it's allowed. It has to be disclosed. Mm-hmm. There's a form for it where there's a disclosed representation of two buyers on the same transaction, which is different than dual agency, where one agent might represent both the seller and the buyer, which is also a disclosable
it's a different
conflict.
kind of tricky.
Correct. It's a different kind of tricky. But I think it carries the same ramifications and potential consequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm only going to head into the market minute. And first, how we do this is first I'm going to talk about all of Northwest Lake County as a whole, kind of let you know how many are active, how many are new this week versus last week, how many have gone under contract in the past 7 days, past 30 days, and then compare that with the data from last year. We'll also talk about inventory. So how many days are properties sitting on the market, and then what is our current month's supply? And then we'll talk about whether pricing margins are between the lowest, highest, and median in all these communities. So we're going to get started right away. And first, on to all of Northwest Lake County as a whole. We're currently sitting at only 114 active listings. 17 are new this week. And that's compared to last week where we had 41. 41 new listings last week, only 17 this week, which is a drop by about almost 60%. Under contract in the past 7 days, we've had 38, which is about the same as last week where there were 40. And under contract in the past 30 days, we've had 144, which is a tick up by about 40% from last month where we only had 100. That's a big jump. It's a 40% increase in properties going under contract. Partly because we're starting to see those buyers come back to market. Mm-hmm. When October hit, things really took a softening blow. Things were sitting on the market longer. Properties weren't selling for the same premiums that they were throughout the summer and early fall. But now we're starting to see that excitement come back into the market. Now, compared to last year, where we had 144 in the past 30 days, that's up slightly by about 20% over last year, where we had 120 over the same time period. And here's the interesting part. The days on market for the whole Northwest Lake County is only 31 days is the average. Mm-hmm. And, you go back to the days. You remember the 2008 days, Sly, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
28, where it was common to have a property on the market for 180 days, 270 days.
Oh,
In fact, some
goodness.
properties sat on the market for years with the same agent, but nothing was selling. You couldn't drop the price fast enough to get a buyer. Although all of us are looking at that now and wishing we picked up all the property we could,
Yeah.
where the prices are. Mm-hmm. And the month supply of inventory for Northwest Lake County is less than 1 month. So for those of you that don't know, what is a month supply of inventory? Month supply of inventory takes into account how fast properties are selling, and it's divided against the number of active listings, and it tells you if no new properties get added to the market, how long will it take to sell them all? Less than 1 month. Now, a typical seller's market is technically is between 1 to 6 months. But realistically, a seller's market, you say, is solidly 1 to 3 months, and then a softer seller's market, 3 to 6 months. It doesn't get into buyer's market territory until your month supply of inventory gets over 6 months, and we're nowhere near that. So if you're thinking about buying this season, start thinking now, because the properties are selling really fast. In all of Northwest Lake County, our lowest price sold was $68,000. Highest price sold is $1.8 million, thanks to a beautiful listing in Antioch. And the highest active property right now on the market, $2.9 million. And that was also in Antioch. The nice thing about Lake County's got such a wide diversity of different types of product, especially we've got some of the most beautiful lake homes in the area. So when you see these big numbers, I'm guaranteed those are going to be on the chain somewhere. Let's head next to breaking that down by community. Antioch represents a third of all of the active listings in Lake County right now.
Wow.
35 active listings in Antioch. But only 1 new this week, compared to 7 new last week, a drop of about 86%. Under contract in the past week, only 4, down from 8 the prior week. So they actually went down quite a bit. And the this month, the last 30 days under contract was 19 compared to 16 last month, a slight uptick, and compared to last year at the same time, 22. So we're hovering about the same rate. Days on market here, though, interesting in Antioch. 57 days on market average. Compared to the whole area of Northwest Lake County is only 31. So Antioch homes are sitting on the market just a little bit longer, and I think it's a outcome of having such a large supply of inventory. But the month supply of inventory is only 1.8, so still good. About double the region, but still under 2 months supply of inventory. Lowest price in Antioch, a bargain at $70,000. If you see something available to buy for $70,000 anywhere here, you buy it. I don't care what it is. It might be an outhouse. You're still going to buy it. Highest sold property in Antioch was $1.8 million. Highest active price is also the highest in the region, $2.9 million. But a median price, very affordable, $355,000. Last week, we took Volo, Fox Lake, and Ingleside separately, and we talked about them. But between the 3 of them, some of them have 0 new listings all the time, so we combine them into one area. So this week, we're going to combine Volo, Fox Lake, and Ingleside into one talking point. And we've got 11 active listings and 2 new this week compared to 5 last week. Under contract in the past 7 days was 8 versus 4 last week. So they doubled their contracts this past week. This month, 16 homes under contract compared to last year where there was only 12. So again, they're popping up. Days on market in those 3 areas is only 37 days with a month supply of inventory at 0.7. Lowest price, $75,000. Highest price, $675,000. And the highest active, about $1.7 million. And they have the lowest median price at $233,000. Now we'll get over to Grays Lake, Gages Lake, Haynesville, Third Lake, and Wildwood, where they've got 22 active listings currently, 5 new listings this week, a drop of about half from last week where there was 9. And we've got 4 under contract this week compared to 9 the prior week. 29 homes under contract this past month compared to only 9 the month prior. Huge increase, 3 times. And last year at this time, the they were at 21. So trekking pretty well with last year. Increase of about actually 89%. Now, that's actually pretty good. 30 days on market is the average with a month supply of inventory of 0.8. Lowest price.